Welcome back to the show, and I have Jack Spurgeon with me today, and he's going to talk about some smoke detector safety issues that are going on, not so much on a residential standpoint, but more from the commercial end.
Yeah, that's correct, and we appreciate the opportunity to let our communities know, because safety is, as we always mention, is the primary concern. And we've been having some in the commercial settings with about all types of occupancies, and then some are even more concerning when we look at the motel, hotel, residential type deal. But what we've been seeing is the fact that those alarm systems are put in place for early detection and notification so people can evacuate. And the employer or employees in most cases have been, I guess, utilizing the fact that those are, once they go off, they are real loud, so they want to silence them or clear the panel before fire personnel arrive on the scene. And so that creates a difficult task for us once we arrive on the scene to be able to tell where the alarm has occurred and maybe what zone it's in or what location or what may have went wrong, whether it was a smoke detector itself, whether it was a duct detector, whatever it may be in your HVAC units, or it may be an actual alarm situation in the mechanical rooms or something. So that makes it more difficult for us to be able to pinpoint where we need to send our resources to once we first get there, what areas we need to focus on, and once that's been cleared.
So they just need to leave it in place until you arrive on the scene.
Yeah, because basically what happens, depending on the type of system we got, there's two things going to happen. Either it's going to be a long time for us to search every inch of the facility to make sure, because we have to clear it before we can let folks go back in. So we're taking on that responsibility to say it's safe to go back in. Or in some cases, we've had incidents where we've not been able to pinpoint some things or not understand how the alarm panel is working. So we've actually had to, even though they may have to bring their alarm company in to either replace issues or help us figure out what's going on. And so that even extends the time where we can get folks back in the building. So that's created some problems for us. So basically, once the alarms went off, then it's meant for evacuation to occur. Now, there are some facilities that, basically, I'll use the hospital example. They train people to go a step further with their maintenance people, because with hospital settings, obviously we've got a large amount of folks that either A, are in critical care facilities, and so they're looking to see where the alarm is, what's going on, because in those type of instances we have measures in place both with the facility and with us. If it's not in that location, then they're sheltering in place, because obviously we can't move critical patients without a lot of staff.
Right. Or
we may move them to another zone depending on what's going on. So there are some places where they have people already checking out before we get there, but those are in facilities like that. Other locations, they need to let us respond, make sure everybody's getting out about it, and then we can go ahead and clear the situation.
That's great. All right, so hopefully y'all are listening out there. We want to let the fire department handle this.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is the hotel motel industry.
Absolutely.
We've been seeing the fact that they may be getting those silenced or clearing early. Obviously at nighttime, I guess they get in the mindset, well, we don't want to wake our folks up that are staying at the motel. And we've been responding to these locations without evacuation being in place. And that's concerning when you're looking at 4 or 5. And then when you get to your larger cities, we're talking 16-floor facilities or even larger, then you've got some issues. And obviously, once the larger the complex gets, the different ways that you work a fire alarm system on how much evacuation, depending on what the situation is. And then we've seen across the country where we've had fire in those locations, and it has led to some, in some cases in years past, a large amount of loss of life. So we have to look at these for what they are, and they're life safety features that get us out of the building so that we're safe. So we just need to, if we hear a fire alarm system, we need to
We do
evacuate.
evacuate.
And make sure
Don't
we
wait
go
around.
to specific locations. If you're in the motel, staying in the motel hotel, obviously on the back of every room there is an evacuation plan, which you should get in the habit of when you go to that facility, looking and see what the evacuation plan is, where your nearest routes are. Actually physically walk and see where the stairways are, because you won't be using the elevators in an alarm situation. So that way you know exactly which way to go if you come out of the hallway. And again, these systems are in place so that you don't come out into the hallway with a full bunch of smoke that you can't find your way. So again, once the alarm sets, you know, get out ASAP and make sure you're outside, so when the fire department arrives, you know, the motel facility can say, as far as we can tell, all of our residents are out of the motel rooms. And then once we have to start clearing floors and stuff like that, then that becomes an issue with, you know, people still there, and we'll just knock on the doors to make sure it's clear if we do have fire situations, if they say somebody's not out or whatever. So yeah, we need to make sure the alarm is utilized to its full potential, and then we utilize it to its full potential.
Great. Great information. Thanks so much, Jack, for being with us today. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.